Ba 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 da ba da da. Ya da 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 da. Do 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 ba ba ba. Ba da ba. There is, you know, with these Facebook live streams. By the way, hi, it's G from the Academy. How are ya today? Um, Feel free to answer that question. To get this streaming live online, I need 3 windows open in my computer. And I need to be able to check the streaming feed, which is what you can see. It's the streaming feed. And I need to be able to check the background where I'm surfing the net. It's over here. Oh, here. There we go. It's over here, where you can see the arrows spinning around. And I need to be able to check what's happening with the Facebook streams, which is something that you can't see. But I need to be able to see that. And there's no way really of organizing it all so that all of it is visible at one time. You kind of have to have 3 things overlapping. But you can make them smaller. No, that doesn't work because they need to be bigger in order to see what's going on. Anyway, who cares about the technical stuff? Nobody cares about the technical stuff. People want information or fun or entertainment, as a matter of fact. Anyway, I'm not an entertainer, I'm an informer. So I'm here to give you some information today. It's the Academy Live, and we will be going live very soon, every day. And we will be presenting information that will improve the quality of your life, perhaps the quality of your world. Little things make big differences, so we're starting here. My last presentation was just too long. I'm trying to keep it short because I know that people have very short attention spans, like 10 seconds, perhaps. Or maybe just 10 minutes maximum. But I know that it's hard for people to focus for longer periods of time because life is full of so many other interesting things that we have to do, right? Tell by the number of people jumping in and out on the feed that I can see here. Anyway, if you're picking this up online, type in a hi, hello, type in where you're from. Apparently people like to write where they're from in the forums. So you can type it under the video or next to the video. Even if you watch a recording of this later, you can still do that. For reference information, this is going out live on my Facebook page. So, what's on my mind? I'm going to do some parenting stuff today, which is relationship stuff, which is about the general dynamics between parents and children and how we can improve them, which is the general dynamics between anyone in relationships, I suppose. Other things. Yeah, I wrote down a note. I had a session this morning. Oh, and thank you very much for the overly overly happy thumbs up and hearts. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Somebody has been on the coffee this morning. Right. So I was thinking, muchas gracias, I believe they say. I was thinking this morning about something that somebody said to me, and I've noticed that because I had some consultation meetings this morning with people who are interested in taking coaching sessions, and it really seems to me a lot of the time that people have decided what they want before they really make their final choice. What I wrote down is people decide before they choose. And it seems to me that before I can tell them about the academy and the sessions and how we organize them and how we prepare the materials and how we sit down, they're all like, yes, yes, we want to start, we want to start, we want to start, we want to do it, yes, yes, yes. And I'm like, slow down, guys. Slow down. You have to take things bit by bit. You have to take things step by step. You don't want to just jump in the deep end. I mean, how do you know that I'm the right person to work with you? And how do I know that you're going to keep all your promises and do everything you say that you're going to do? Well, one of my jobs is accountability. My job is to make sure that you keep your promises. But we still need to discuss the details, the nuances, the ins and outs of every situation, so that we can try to make it better. And I think that people want too much, too soon, too quickly, too fast in the modern world, and that they need just to take it easy. And I really feel in a lot of consultations that I'm not even having a real conversation, that I don't need to persuade the people or convince the person that this school is the best school. They seem to have already decided that in their own minds. And I think people do a lot of that when they're not just looking for schools and tutors and teachers, but in their daily purchases. They sort of decide that they want something before they have all the information and all the details. And it's worth thinking carefully. So let me know if you agree or disagree with that idea. If you just jumped online in the middle of the idea, then you might want to go back a little bit and just listen to what I said for the last 2 or 3 minutes, because I think it's interesting, I think it's useful, I think it can help you in your life. Right. You should be able to see on the page, our homepage, www.nsa-slovakia.com, language and personal coaching, where we have lots of information, lots of videos that I made, some good, some not so good, but they give you the information anyway. So always space for improvement. There's always room for improvement. Better can always be better. What else have we got? Free courses and paid courses. You can explore that at your leisure, at your pleasure. Moving on. Right, that was the introduction. So I hope you're well out there. What I'd like to talk about, as I said earlier, is relationships. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this website. If you are an adult and you want to know more about why your kids are doing what they're doing, or say if you're a kid and you want to know more about why are my parents like that, this website explains everything. It really does explain absolutely everything to you. So it's called ahaparenting.com, and this is one of the articles. I get their newsletter. You can sign up, get their newsletter. It comes out once or twice a week, and it's always useful. It's always relevant. It's always practical. It's always on point, as we say. So what are we looking at today? Together, we're going to go through this article, which is why punishment doesn't teach your child accountability. Now, I'm all about accountability. I'm all about accountability. I'm all about understanding what you do and why you do it, and being able to explain it as well. Leave nothing to chance. Leave nothing to chance. So, the question that was asked or presented to the website was, how do you hold a child accountable for her behavior without punishment? Can you have accountability without punishment? Interestingly, also, there's a quote here. There's no word for accountability in Finnish. Accountability is something that is left when responsibility has been subtracted. So when the concept of responsibility disappears, what's left is accountability. It's basically saying that we need responsibility, and if we don't have responsibility, then we need accountability. So let's get into the article. Can you see that okay? Should I make myself smaller? I should be able to do that in the settings here. I should be able to just do this. And then you'll be able to see the whole article. Look at that. Miracles of technology. Right. No, I'm not a genius, but thank you for asking. ahaparenting.com. So the article's about accountability. Let's get into this. What does it mean to hold our child accountable for her behavior? My definition would be that our child assumes responsibility for her actions, including making amends and avoiding a repeat, whether the figure is present, whether the authority figure is present or not. This is being responsible for actions, whether the authority figure is present or not. Not needing someone to tell you where to be, what to do, when to go, but understanding those things yourself. Not waiting for someone to tell you what to do. I can tell you, the students that I work with that are the best of the best are not waiting. They're not waiting for anyone to tell them what to do. They are all getting out there and getting things done without the need to be told to do it. It's kind of a measure of intelligence. And most people can't handle it. They can't handle it. They can't handle the responsibility. They Back to the article. This is why it takes me so long. So really, it isn't about holding our child accountable. It's kind of about teaching accountability, I suppose. What we want is for our child or our children to step into responsibility, to hold herself accountable, or himself, or themselves. Once someone takes responsibility, we don't have to hold her, him, them accountable. The same is also true in businesses. In businesses, if you're a business leader, if you're a manager, you want your employees not to be asking you every step of the way what to do. In fact, if you do want your employees to be asking you, you're not a manager, you're an authoritarian, and that's not good. It's just not good. It's not going to work. It's just not good. Grow up. Right. Essentially, we're talking about raising a moral child who wants to do the right thing. Most people assume that punishment is what helps humans decide to do the right thing. So, if we aren't punishing our children, they'll grow up doing the wrong thing. That's a bleak view of human nature. And it turns out to be dead wrong. Without punishment, how can we possibly survive as a society? Well, perhaps if we don't brutalize the kids. Perhaps if we're a little less aggressive towards them. Perhaps if we're a little bit more understanding, a little bit more tolerant, a little bit more showing, a little bit more like leaders, a little bit more like good examples, that will make a difference. There's now a wealth of research, see the end of this article, for link to citations, demonstrating that kids, and what I'll do is I will take this article and I will copy and paste a link to it in the chat next to the FB video for ya, who are punished are less likely to make positive moral choices. So there's a wealth of research demonstrating that kids who are punished are less likely to make positive moral choices. So punishment is negative. If you punish, the result of the choice will be negative because, well, why? You want to know why? You want to know why? We all want to know why. Why? There's a whole list of whys. Because punishment focuses a child on the consequences he is suffering rather than the consequences of his behavior to someone else. So it makes him more self-centered and less empathic. Remember, energy flows where attention goes. You focus on the negative point and the negative becomes bigger. Sad really. You ever realize that in human relationships as well? You ever realize that in human relationships where like 95 to 99% of a relationship can be good, but there'll be one thing that happens and that thing will break or destroy the relationship. It'll be that end point, and you'll remember that end point. You'll focus on that end point rather than the 99 positive things that happened. If you're out there, what are you drinking? This is coffee, but it's not coffee. It's in fact milkshake, banana milkshake with extra coffee thrown into it. Right. I stopped drinking milkshakes a couple of months ago because I felt that it was giving me like a blocked chest. That are so addictive. Anyway, continuing. Punishment makes a child feel like he's a bad person, which is always a self-fulfilling prophecy. So he's more likely to repeat the bad behavior. I punish you because I punish bad people and you're a bad person, and the child internalizes the fact that they're bad, creating the self-fulfilling prophecy. So basically telling the child that he's bad creates a bad child. And then the child repeats the behavior, and as a parent you are screwed. So try to avoid that. The most salient lesson of punishment is to avoid it in the future by sneaking and lying to escape detection. So punishment fosters dishonesty. Yeah, if the child knows that if they do something wrong or they get something wrong or they have a problem, they're going to be punished for it, then they're not going to tell you about it. They're not going to talk to you about it. They're going to be quiet. They're going to sneak around. They're going to be lying. And that's just not good. It's just not good. You are channeling the child down the wrong pipeline. Moving on. Because kids invariably consider punishment unfair, it teaches kids that might makes right and abuse of power is okay, which makes kids less likely to make moral choices. Punishment is unfair because it's just big against small. That's why you punish, because you're big and they're small, and that's it. It teaches that the strong is right, and it can often be an abuse of power. Not always, but very often. And so you're steering the child away from moral choices here. Punishment, yes, even timeouts, erode our relationship with our child so that he isn't as invested in pleasing us. And the more disconnected he feels from us, the worse his behavior. So if you're punishing someone, you cannot expect to develop a positive relationship with them. You just can't. I think about it. I mean, who wants to have a positive relationship with someone who's being negative to them? It's almost impossible. So the child will not be interested in pleasing the parent if the punishment continues. And then you just get this disconnect. And that's where communication breaks down. Again, if you're catching this online, it's G from the Academy, www.nsa-slovakia.com. If you're catching this on Facebook, right-click on the video, copy and paste the URL, or you can just click share. If you're catching this on YouTube, then you can copy and paste the address at the top of the page into a chat or a forum window. Spread the word and be heard. Moving on. Because punishment doesn't help a child with the emotions that drove her to act out to begin with, those emotions get stuffed down, only to pop up again later and cause a repeat of the misbehavior. Yeah, punishment doesn't help a child deal with the emotions because the punishment is a focus on the end result. It's not a focus on the cause. To make this point clearer, if you've got some kind of horrible disease like cancer, very often doctors and cures focus on the cancer, not the cause of the cancer. You can argue the cause at that point, because the cancer is pretty bad, is not so important. But if you want to solve anything, you've got to get at the cause. You've got to get at the root. You got to strike at the root of the problem. And so that's way back in time. You've got to take step. You've got to realize which domino fell first. Which domino fell first? You know, this caused this, which caused this, which caused this, which caused this. But what was the initial point? What was the initial point? The trouble is that everything is connected to everything else. But you got to start somewhere. Where do I start? I don't know where to start. You start at the beginning. Wherever the beginning is for you, that's where you start. Right. Moving on. Punishment makes a child feel wronged and creates a chip on the shoulder. Oops. Bang the mic. Chip on the shoulder. So she's less likely to resent making amends. Maybe the child just made a mistake. Maybe they didn't do something wrong. Maybe they just made a mistake. But the child's going to feel wronged. The child's going to feel resentment. And so he or she, they're not going to want to repair the damage. What criminal who's been made out to be a criminal wants to repair the damage? And reparation means that you work until the injured party is satisfied. It's not just the basics. You go beyond the basics in order to repair the damage. Remember, it takes a second to break things that a lifetime can't fix. Think about it. It takes a second to break things a lifetime can't fix. Punishment makes kids look out only for themselves and blame others rather than caring about how their behavior affects others. Yet there's a tendency if you're going to blame me, then I'm going to blame someone else. If you're saying it's me, then I'm going to say it's him. They're just going to mirror the emotional response that you have, rather than caring about the emotions and communicating and being open and talking and listening and understanding. Think about it. Think about it. Who's it benefiting? Who's the punishment benefiting? Ooh, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. then why are you doing it at all? You fool. Punishment creates an external locus of control, the authority figure. The child actually comes to see the parent as responsible for making her behavior rather than taking responsibility for her behavior as her own choice. Yeah, taking responsibility for the result, taking the responsibility for the punishment, is taking the responsibility away from the child. And if you want the child to grow and you want the child to learn, it's responsibility that you want to teach. And if you focus on punishment, it's just not going to work. You're not going to get that positive element, that positive result. It's hard. It's hard. Why is it so hard? It's hard because it's never easy. One study showed that 7th graders whose parents raised them using punishment, including consequences and timeouts, were less morally developed than their peers. Having learned to do exactly what they are told in order to avoid losing their parents' love, they tend to just apply rules in a rigid, one-size-fits-all fashion. So the result of punishments were less morally developed peers, less morally developed. What does that mean? Well, it means that it might not be visible at first, but the character change is there. It's like looking at a classroom of students sitting down, maybe if you've got school uniforms, all wearing the school uniform, all sitting at their desks, from the outside, looking in from the outside, everything looks perfect. But it's what's going on inside that makes a difference. What mental cognitive processes are you stimulating by punishing children? What's the extension of punishment? It's torture, basically, isn't it? It's just punishment if it's done to a kid, but it's torture if it's done to an adult. And look, isn't sending kids to school enough torture without torturing them more? Right? Love. All you need is love, guys. All you need is love. Many of the studies referred to above are detailed in Cohen's, that's Alfie Cohen's book, Unconditional Parenting. Great book. Get it. Unconditional Parenting. And more are being published every day. You'll also find a long list of citations as well as tips to get kids cooperating without punishment in my post, the ahaparenting.com post, 10 ways to guide children without punishment. 10 ways to guide children without punishment. As I said, I will post a link to this article in the chat. And if you've got a question, if you disagree, if you agree, let me know. The more you let me know, the more I can orientate myself to make things better in the future. Trying to make feedback constructive and positive. I know it's difficult, but it's worth it. Taken as a whole, this body of research suggests that children who are punished, including with timeouts and consequences, exhibit more bad behavior. I also want to talk in the future about rewards. I mean, is reward as negative as punishment? We don't think about it like that, but they kind of go hand in hand. Anyway, this body of research suggests that children who are punished exhibit more bad behavior, not less. Not because kids who behave badly are punished more often, but because kids who are punished behave badly more often. Classic. Okay. So there's more bad behavior, not because kids who behave badly are punished more often, but because kids who are punished behave badly more often. You have to think about it. Think about it. Cognitive process. Think. Think. The ink of the mind. Think. Indelible. Get it in there. So if punishment teaches our child all the wrong lessons, what does raise a child who wants to do the right thing? Loving guidance, which includes limits and borders. Everything needs borders. If you don't have borders, you don't have anything. If you don't have a definition, if you don't have something that is not, it can't be. Which includes limits set with empathy, connection, modeling, be the future you want to see, and a whole lot of love. That's a fantastic article. That's an epic article. So, ahaparenting.com, the article was Why Punishment Doesn't Teach Your Child Accountability. And right now, I'm going to take the link and I'm going to do this in real time. I hope I'm going to do this in real time. I'm going to go over to the chat box and write the article. And I'm going to paste the link to the article, and there it appears in the chat form. It's that simple. There's a lot of great stuff that we can apply. Read the article, and if you want, go through this presentation again, because I give you more ideas. I give you background. I give you specifics. I told you why. I also gave you my opinion, which you might disagree with. I don't really care. But I'm sure you have an opinion. So why don't you chime in? Why don't you add your opinion? Why don't you write a comment in the box? Or click like, or give me a thumbs up, or a heart, or a smiley face, or a sad face, or buy me a beer. Oh, you can't. I don't drink. Oh well. That's life, I suppose. Thank you very much for paying attention. This was the Academy Live, and these videos will be stored on our Facebook channel and on our YouTube page. They will be mirrored up there. If you want more information about what we do, www.nsa-slovakia.com. We're open every day, Monday to Friday, for consultations. You can write us an email or Skype. You can Skype us for a free consultation, and we'll give you some advice about the language courses, the English language courses, or the personal development courses that we do. We're here for you, so use it or abuse it. Well, don't abuse me, you know. Use it or lose it. Use it or abuse it. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Use it or abuse it. Don't abuse it. That's bad. Right. Okay. So, see, not everything makes sense. Not even me. There we go. Thanks very much for paying attention. I hope wherever you are, you have a fantastic day. And I'll speak to you again soon with another short presentation. If you like this, send it to your friends. Link up to my Facebook page, Graham William Hendrey. Or we're Native Speakers Academy, or we're the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching on Facebook. And I think there's still a few free places left once we get 100 people on the site. Things are going to change. Things are going to change. Progress, I hope. Wherever you are, have a great day. I'm just going to chill out now and just take a second and relax. Answer my emails.